But I was certain that my girls were going to grow up successful, empowered, and have the mindset to do what they dreamed to do. I remember at 5 years old, my daughter, Alexi, her name's Alexi Panos, was sitting there watching TV, and she saw Save the Children commercial. And she goes, Mom, I'm going to go to Africa and save those kids one day. And I said, babe, I believe you will. You're smart. You've got a great heart of gold. You're going to figure out how to do that. By 20, she was in Tanzania, Africa, and now she has 21 water wells. At 15, she wanted to be a pop singer. Okay, I happened to have the talent business at that time. I'm like, well, let's make this happen. She sings on 3 multi-platinum CDs. Now, in the past couple of years, she was in Inc. and Forbes magazine as one of the top female entrepreneurs changing the world. So this mindset she grew up with, and this is clearly written in my book, Live Beyond Your Dreams, From Fear and Doubt to Personal Power, Purpose, and Success. And I kind of use my kids in our journey as examples of, you know, how I went through extreme trauma with my marriage, but had the mindset for success that got me to be a successful entrepreneur in my 20s, and taught the skills to my daughters. And my other daughter is one of the top 50 photographers in the country, and worked up to be a supervisor at JetBlue by the age of 24. So whatever they dreamed to do, they did it. And they were out of my house at age 19, supporting themselves completely, their apartments, their jobs. So no matter what you've gone through, it's really important that you as the mom heal, right? And not harbor the anger or get involved with the toxic drama of an ex boyfriend or a husband or partner, that you become emotionally sound, and then you teach your kids the skills as well.
Absolutely. And again, those skills that they're learning at that young age, and just having that belief that, yeah, if I want to do it and I set myself up for success, I can. And then you see it carry through as they're older, and you can look back and just marvel at them.
Yes. I mean, one of I study and learn all the time. I do research all the time. So one thing I researched when I was pregnant with my first daughter, Stefana, was the Better Baby Institute. Now I think it's called the Institute of Development, Human Development. It's outside of Philadelphia in Wynwood. And they were working on the brains of children that were born with some physical difficulty, right? Mental difficulty. And I said, if this is working so well for kids that are mentally challenged, this learning system will work for kids who are not. So they said the first 5 years of their life are the most critical to teach your children skills. So I took this on. I taught them reading. They were reading by the age of 2. I went into kindergarten. They're like, so what do they learn in kindergarten? Well, we start with this is letter A and this is letter B. And I said to my daughter, hon, go pick a book off the bookshelf and read it to the teacher. So she opened the book and could read the whole thing, because she had this love of learning, and learning is a game. Now, think about it. We didn't have computers back then. I was not on computers all the time. I was engaging and teaching my kids these different games and skills. I also use the star chart in my home to teach them to pick up after themselves. And instead of nagging them to do it, they have the star chart, and that's clearly explained in the parenting chapter of Live book. But if they reach their stars, 30 is perfect, 5 chores a day over 6 days. The 7th day is a day off. 30 is perfect. They only needed 24. And if they got 30, they would get a bonus. So either kids, they would get a toy or baking cookies or adventure day with mom. And as teens, that was their allowance. So they get $10 and a couple extra dollars as an allowance. And then if they wanted to go to the mall or to the movies, I'm like, well, you have your allowance for that.
Yes.
And then they knew the value of money. They also started work very early, babysitting first, dog sitting. Then they were working at 15 years old. One worked in my model and talent agency at 12, Alexi, and Steph worked in her father's restaurant. So they were working and earning money all the way along. So by the time they're 16, they buy their car. You see, so it's not like, hand me a car, mom.
Yeah.
No, now if they needed help for me to sign on a loan, I did. But they had jobs. They had to pass the criteria to be an owner of a car and on a loan. So these were all life skills that help your child be very successful. And Alexi never stepped foot in college. We had a plan B for her, but she's a very successful millionaire coach. She's one of the top 1% of life coaches in the world right now. And
That's
Stefana had
amazing.
2 years of college and excelled. So it's not about formal education that will set them
No.
up for success. It's the life skills.
Yes. Which I very much like that in this sort of new generation way of thinking as well. Like you are obviously very much ahead of your time and not pressuring for that post-secondary education, because life, and if you're passionate about something, then you can make it your career. And I think at the
Right.
end of the day, I know what I always wanted was to be happy in what I had to wake up doing every day. Because if I was
Right.
going to be miserable about it, long term, that's not going to be good for anybody.
Right.
If you've liked hanging out with the Mom Files, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below.